Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I am Heena Gambhir. On Urban Debate tonight, we discuss a battle of Waterloo. Armed Indian with children fights. Unlike the one in June 1815, it is fought annually in India. Of course, the rich, powerful and those with zero means stay out of it. At the start of the battle, parents turn beleaguered generals. Children about to enter the world of education or switching schools, the foot soldiers. The hunt is not for any school. First search criteria is actually to find a school with no private school-like fee. That is the first search criteria for crores of Indians in this country. Then they aspire for a good school. Sarkari schools run by state governments fit the fee bracket but fail the quality check. But then lack zero in on one institution that is considered good in quality and light on budget. The Kendriya Vidyalayas system. KVs are a chain of central schools operated by Central Ministry of Education. But there are only 1,248 KVs to pick from. The objective behind creation and continuation of KVs as per the KV Sangathan website is to cater to the educational needs of the children of transferable central government employees, including defense and paramilitary personnel, by providing a common program of education. But there is another way to get admitted to a Kendriya Vidyalaya in this country. Find an MP. As each one of these 780 MPs have a quota of 10 students they can recommend. Now this, viewers, is a discretionary power MPs have. And annually, MPs are flooded with thousands of requests. So much so that some MPs like BJP Sushil Modi feel politicians lose elections due to KV quota system, as they can send 10 recommendations, leaving thousands unhappy. He further feels the quota goes against the spirit of democracy, transparency and meritocracy. And when MPs are not given any right in central universities, IITs or IIMs, then why should they have it in Kendriya Vidyalayas? On the other hand, Congress MP Manish Tewari too wants either scrapping or a hike in the 10-seat quota to adequate levels. Now, viewers, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has directed Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan to hold a meeting with the leaders of political parties in the House on this particular issue. And here on Mirror Now, we want to ask, should MPs quota stay or end? Isn't a quota in schools for central government employees, that too with transferable jobs and admission by the system, that state government-run schools are far short of people's aspirations? You can call us as well, share with us your views on this very important issue that we are discussing on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. And the numbers are going to be flashing at the bottom of your screens. And before I open up the phone lines and before I welcome my guests for the debate this evening, I'm joined by Dr. Amar Patnaik, who is an MP and national spokesperson of the BJD. Dr. Amar Patnaik, thank you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Good to have you on the show today. What is your opinion on this particular quota issue? There is a demand that has come from Congress MP Manish Tewari, who says either the quota should be increased or it should be scrapped. Where do you stand? Should there be this quota for central schools at all?
See, I look at it a little differently in the sense, I think the very fact that there are so many takers for the Kendriya Vidyalayas schools indicates that the level of education in the schools is better, it is more affordable, and therefore, I think the most important thing is the case for the central government to increase the number of schools so that the pressure on the schools itself will decrease and therefore on the MPs as well. The allocation in the current year's budget estimates is actually more by about 800 crores. And similarly, there was an increase last year. And I had made a further suggestion to the finance minister that even he could think about a PPP model to really grow very fast. So I think the solution to this problem is not by abolishing or increasing the number, but I think by having more number of Kendriya Vidyalayas schools, because ultimately it is a right to education and our children would benefit. Having said so, the current level of having only 10 classes, particularly for a Rajya Sabha MP for the entire state, is grossly inadequate. And therefore, there is some merit in what Manish ji was saying about either abolishing it or increasing the numbers. There is also merit in Mr. Sushil Modi's the 0 hour mention that he made in the last session, that the pressure on the MP to allocate seats within this number is so difficult to contain within that number that sometimes the MP becomes unpopular simply because of this fact. So my prescription would be to increase the number of Kendriya Vidyalaya schools, to devise ways and means of getting private sector or other kinds of philanthropic organizations to set up more Kendriya Vidyalayas in consultation with the state government, because they will give the land. So various methods could be adopted. And if you ask me personally, the numbers are pretty less. Either they should not be there, and if it is there, then the numbers should be increased.
But Dr. Patnaik, then the question is that why can't we have MPs fighting to make Sarkari schools in their constituency become, as competitive as the KVs or Kendriya Vidyalayas today are in the country? Is the formula that KVs have in the country difficult to emulate? Why can't all Sarkari schools become as, affordable and good in quality as the Kendriya Vidyalayas, instead of just demanding the center to open more KVs in the country? What about the existing government schools?
Yeah, so the state government schools, because its education is a state subject, the state government schools, currently, for example, in Orissa, we are having a high school transformation project in which we are actually going to make it at a level which will be better than even Kendriya Vidyalayas. Now, such kind of initiative needs to be taken by other state governments. Your point is very well taken, that we need to bring, have contestation between different schools so that the quality improves in both the schools. Currently, since the level of these, not all the state government schools, there are some state government schools which people aspire to be in, parents aspire their children to be in, but a large number of them are not of that standard. But the effort is currently being made. The states, you would realize, do not have the kind of resources that the center has. And therefore, to bring it to that kind of a level, both in terms of infrastructure as well as in terms of the soft human resources, is a tall order. But it's not that it cannot be done. The effort is already being made by, as I said, by Orissa government, and you'll see that in a couple of years, you would see people really aspiring to be in state government schools. Some states have succeeded, in fact, in doing so, just as in Delhi, for example, and I'm sure that can be done. But having said so, there is no harm increasing the number of Kendriya Vidyalayas itself, because more the number of good schools in a country like India, the contestation between the schools will be more, and children would have the option of going to X school or the Y school, where just as in the private sector, where you find that there are a number of good schools where people choose from.
But Dr. Patnaik, then the question is this quota system actually serving the purpose for which it was brought in? For example, as I was mentioning during my introduction as well, that Kendriya Vidyalayas were created on 15th of December 1963 as central schools to cater to educational needs of children of transferable central government employees, which includes defense and paramilitary personnel, by providing a common program of education. But, don't you think, going by the logic you've given to us, going by what Mr. Manish Tewari and Mr. Sushil Modi have told us, we're losing the objective here?
No. See, the objective is not being lost at all, in the sense this additional allocation made to the MPs is in no way going to reduce the number of seats for the students of central government employees, for the children of central government employees. Though the entire system, the KV system, has been designed to cater to the students who are affected because of the transfer of their parents suddenly between state to state, across states. Therefore, it causes a problem. The similar problem is not there within the states. However, the quality of these Kendriya Vidyalayas teaching as well as affordability is something that the state government schools are probably not able to match. And therefore, it is a case, as you were suggesting very correctly, that we need to also ramp up the educational standards of our state schools under the state government. But it requires resources, and these resources are something which the states find difficult to meet. So I have a feeling that we need to apply more mind to find how to bring, just as again, as I said, we are doing in Orissa in a phased manner, transforming the higher secondary schools so that people actually aspire to be in those schools. But by having some 10 people in these Kendriya Vidyalayas from this quota, no way actually affects the students who are from the central government pool and want to take admission, because they still remain as the #1 category in terms of preference.
Okay, one last question before we let you go, Dr. Patnaik. If there are about 780 MPs and 10 students are admitted to KVs under the quota that they hold right now, they'll take away 7,800 seats. What about lakhs of students who are deserving, who probably do not have access to an MP?
No, that's the point. So that's...
Isn't it discriminatory then?
Yeah, so no, that's the point here, that firstly, it doesn't affect the central government, the children of central government parents who are under transfer. But this is an additionality in which most of the members of parliament recommend only those cases where the parents are actually in destitution. They really deserve to be in a good school, and the nearby, in some cases, they find that the Kendriya Vidyalaya is in fact nearby, which can give that kind of an education. But it is a discretion. No discretion should actually be unfettered. If there are conditions which are put over there that these kind of students only with this kind of income of parents could be admitted, I think it would bring a better system in the discretion. But the numbers is definitely, as Manish ji said, very less. Either you abolish it or you increase the number with some fixed criteria in terms of monetary income of the parents, or in terms of if a student in a state school has been transferred from, let us say, one far corner of the state to another state corner, there are different categories that can be met. Let's say someone who's been affected by the COVID, whose parents have suffered. Now, these kind of categories can actually be brought in. Currently, there are no criteria mentioned. So I think a criteria could be mentioned. But if the criteria is to be mentioned, then there's a need to increase the numbers. Otherwise, abolish it.
Okay, interesting point of view, Amar Patnaik, sir, that you have given to our viewers. There should be a criteria. That is something probably that's missing, and if we get that, then probably there'll be more transparency, and it'll not then get tilted in the favor of only those who have jugaad or who have some kind of a connection with the MP that they know. Dr. Patnaik, I appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now on Urban Debate this evening. Thank you very much for joining us.